You are welcome to the Wealthy Continent channel, a channel dedicated to the great people and continent of Africa. Remember, it is not the place that defines the status of the people. Rather, it is the people that define the status of the place. As we continue our journey of financial literacy, we're going to be looking at the topic, should Africans abroad be refinancing their primary residence? This is a topic that we need to look into. If you are a property owner, if you have bought your property, is something to look into, because you have these topics flying everywhere, and we want to try and look at it in this video, the details that you have to consider, the things that you have to think about before making the decision. When it comes to property appreciation, there are things that you have done and there are things that time has done for the property to increase in value. Sometimes people buy property and add value to it. There's an extension they've done to the property and it has added value from the time they purchased the property. Sometimes people buy at under the market value, below the market value. So by the time they do the little work, they spin it around and increase the value of the property. Another way is people buy property and hold it for a long time, and that will still increase the value of the property. Location is something else that people look at. Some people are after a particular location. There's so much demand, and because there's so much demand for that particular area, it pushes up the price of property in that value. Inflation is something to be considered as well, because something you bought 10 years ago will not be the same price as that today. So with all this, it gives you that very reason why your property has appreciated. So the difference between how much you paid for it and the present value is what we call appreciation, is what we call equity. And when people are refinancing, they are refinancing based on two reasons. Somebody might have seen, a better interest rate that will cause them to pay less interest to the bank and to pay off their mortgage early. Another reason people refinance is to pull out the equity from that property. Now, if they pull out the equity, people have different reasons for pulling out equity from their property because of the price appreciation. When you have the money in your house, is there. But when you pull it out, is another kettle of fish. People refinance because, one, they have debt to clear. They have loads of debt and think, okay, if I refinance and pull the money out, I can clear this debt. People refinance as well to improve the house. Their house they are living needs some renovation, refurbishment, and they don't have the money to do it. And they look at their current circumstance and situation and decide, okay, I'm going to refinance and put money out and do this work. People refinance as well to say to themselves, okay, you only live once. So they try to tell themselves and convince themselves they have to travel all over the world, stay in nice hotel, go first class, enjoy themselves, while they are still alive. People do that. Some people refinance to buy new cars and do a little bit of work in the house. And some people refinance on their primary residence to invest that money into another property, so that at least they have their residential property and they now have a rental property. Now, these things go on, and you hear people talking about it. There are three things you have to think about when you are refinancing. Now, if you are just refinancing because you have a good rate and the cost attached to that refinancing makes sense, and you think this is good enough, you are going to be paying less to the bank, it makes sense. If you are refinancing for other reasons, you have to remember three things. Number one is that when you refinance, you are pulling money out of your primary residence, which means that you are going to be owing the bank more money. It means that you are going to be paying the bank more money as well. The number two thing you have to think about is risk. The more money you owe, the more risk you have. The number three thing you need to know is that you are going to be paying the bank unless you have a strategy. An exit strategy is going to be taking you a longer time to pay the bank because each time you refinance, you are extending the years that you have borrowed on. So it's something to think about. Now, with this, I'd like to hear from you. Does it make sense to refinance and pull money out? Does it just make sense for you to refinance because of the interest rate? We're in 2023 as at this video, and you can know that the interest rate is skyrocketing. So for someone who wants to refinance at this moment, does it make sense? Or is it something that we need to wait for a lower interest rate before we do it? I'd like to hear from you in the comment box. If you have been getting value from this video, we would like you to consider subscribing to this channel, clicking on the like button, and sharing with others. Remember, a candle does not lose its value by giving light to others. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time.